Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody, how you doing? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor, and today I'm going to jump into the touchy topic of vaccines. Now, there is an ongoing controversy about vaccines, particularly in the Black community, and I just saw a proposal today that really got my attention. And according to this proposal, there are congressmen and women who want to actually require a vaccination in order for you to get your stimulus check. There's an interest here. This isn't a government law or anything like that, but there's an interest in a proposal for them to tie your vaccination to a stimulus check. So we're going to talk about this on the Black Financial Channel. Just buckle your seatbelt, get comfortable, hit the thumbs up button, and we'll begin right now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins, your friendly neighborhood finance professor. It's good to see you guys. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. Hello to Debt Free Dad and Immortal Nana Buluku and Troy B and Finis McDaniel and Rashid Holmes. How you doing? On this platform, I want to make sure that you know this. We are Black here. We're 100% Black, bliggity Black, and Black twice on Sundays. And so this is a Black first platform. I'm not a finance professor who just happens to be Black. I'm a Black man who happens to be a finance professor. So if you agree with that philosophy that Black people should come first, that our needs and priorities should come first, type hashtag B1 in the chat. Put a hashtag B1. Good morning, Lolita and Cameron and Fred and Little Texas D. Coon and Tyrone Haynes and Ashley. How are you? And Felicia Settles. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So basically, I read this proposal that there's a congressman that wants to, and I got his name in front of me. I got to dig it up. But he wants to actually make it mandatory for you to get a vaccine in order to get a stimulus check. Now, this is coming from a congressman by the name of John Delaney, who happens to be an entrepreneur. He is a Democrat. He is a Democrat. And in order to achieve the goal of 75% vaccination rates, he actually wants to basically tell people, look, if you want a check from the government, if you want a stimulus check, then you need to get those shots. If you don't get the shots, then no check. Uh, no shot, no check. Get a shot, you get a check. I found that really interesting. I was somewhat concerned about that proposal. I hope it doesn't go very far, but you never know. It just might. And I'm gonna tell you what, I had to process this, right? I had to meditate on this and kind of say, okay, how can I approach this, or where the social media dictators don't ban me for actually even talking about this topic. I mean, right now the censorship is at an all-time high, and basically any conversations about COVID, the vaccines, or whatever that go outside of what mainstream media or CNN has certified as allowable discussions, allowable conversations, can lead you to be blocked or banned or whatever, right? So I said, okay, let me just talk about this in an honest way, and maybe honesty and truth matters. I don't know if it matters anymore. But here's the deal. So, what I see here with this proposal is something that really triggers me in terms of economic science, and particularly in the area that I studied a lot of, which is financial psychology. I've always really been intrigued with wealth and economics because I've realized how powerful wealth and economics is, how powerful money is. Money manipulates people. A guy that has a lot of money is going to have no problem getting plenty of girls. Doesn't matter if he's got a ton of STDs. Doesn't matter if he's bringing drama into your life. There have been women that have been killed, literally murdered, because they were dating some dude that was into some shady stuff, but they were with him because he had money, right? And money is used to control pretty much everybody, particularly Black people, though, because you're in the unfortunate position of being addicted to a commodity that is controlled by somebody else. If you are addicted to something, financial addiction is very real. I actually have a website called blackfinancialaddiction.com. Actually, I don't talk much about it, but financial addiction is very real. And if you're addicted to something and someone else controls the thing you're addicted to, then they become the pusher, you become the fiend. They become the dealer, you become the addict. And anybody who's ever seen the relationship between a dope dealer and a dope addict understands what the power dynamic is. The dope fiend has no power. It's the dope dealer that has all the power. And if you go back, remember Ice Cube had that song called Dope Man, and he said, "To be a dope man, boy, you must qualify." Finish the sentence. Type it in. Don't get high off your own supply. Right. So to be a dope man, you must qualify. Don't get high off your own supply. Where am I going with this? Why am I talking crazy? Is this just my excuse to throw in some Ice Cube lyrics? Who isn't just a friend of mine, but he's actually one of my favorite rappers, and he was one of my favorite rappers before we became friends. But the reason I bring all this up is to give you real life examples to help you understand how people, particularly Black people, get pimped over money, how money's used to control you on a regular basis. A lot of us get up every day and we do something. Many of us who've ever had a job, if you've ever had a job working for a white man, give me a yes or no. If you've ever worked for a predominantly white company at some point in your life, give me a yes. Give me a yes in the chat. If you've ever worked for a white person or a white corporation, give me a yes or no in the chat. And I'm going to say double yes because I have worked for white people before, and the fact that probably 99%, 98%, 95%, whatever the number is, of Black people have worked for white people at some point. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Because think about this. I want you to give me a yes or no on this. Have even 20% of white people work for a Black person? 50%, 10%. Do you think 10% of all white people have ever worked for a Black person? Imagine what power Black people would have if the majority of white people work for Black people. Imagine if the majority of Asian people work for Black people. Imagine if the Jewish community, the majority of them all work for Black people. Then they would be submitting to Black culture. Then they would be basically impacted by Black cultural domination, imperialism, right? What matters to us would have to matter to them. Our values would have to become their values. You see, so when I see this vaccination, when I see these officials, most of whom are white, using dangling the stimulus check over your head and saying, "Hey, just put this foreign substance in your body, this untested vaccine in your body, and we can give you a check." I see. Honestly, I see pimping 101. I see dope dealer talking to the dope fiend, and the dope fiend is desperate. The dope fiend's going to take whatever they can. They're uninformed. They're hungry for money. They need the cash. And I'm not making fun of you if you're in that position at all. I'm not clowning that. I'm just calling it out. I'm breaking it down for you. And I'm breaking down for you why economic independence, everything from financial literacy to reparations are the most important conversations Black people have to have. These other conversations, these social issues are distractions. These social issues are pretty much you being committed to the middleman. These social issues, honestly, are just more of the same. That's basically going to allow you to get more comfortable in your oppression. I find it quite ironic and just utterly fascinating that the same politicians who would talk all day about social justice, we need to get Black people the vaccine immediately. Black people, African Americans are left behind in the pandemic. African Americans are more likely to be affected by COVID. All these people that are suddenly concerned about Black people. I mean, Black love is at an all-time high, y'all. I mean, seriously, they love y'all more than they've ever loved anybody. We are so concerned about the African American community. Since when? Since when? At what point have you ever? I mean, we sit there banging down the door, standing outside the White House, screaming for attention, and y'all ain't got time for none of that. But now suddenly, Black people are so important. We really got to take care of Black people. Oh my God! You know what it makes me. It really just kind of it's almost as basic as like some guy who's dating a girl, and whenever she needs him, he's never available. When she gets sick and goes to the hospital, he can't even stop by to bring her flowers. When her and her children need money to pay the bills, he ain't got no extra money because he got to spend his money on the side chicks. But then when he gets a little horny, when he wants to get some, he's like, "Girl, you need this you need this sex. We got to get you some sex immediately because I care about you. I got to come over and have sex with you right now. Right? It's so important, right?" but yet he never had time for you in the situations where it benefited you but did not benefit him. But when it benefits him, then suddenly you become the most important thing in the world. And ladies, in case you didn't know, that is what happens, right? You've probably seen this, right? In terms of people that use other people, right? Users think that way. Users are the people that always have all the time in the world for you when they need something. But when you need something, they don't even pick up the phone. Those are unhealthy relationships. If you have somebody in your life like that, you need to get rid of them. You need to stop being that person's friend, because that person is not your friend. They see you as a commodity. They see you as an asset. They see you as an option, but they have no options for you. So, in this abusive relationship with white supremacy that we have, and many of us are white supremacists, many black folks are, that's why we commit to these systems. That's why we commit to these norms. That's why we think these things are okay. They will pull every lever to get what they want. The fact that they are suddenly so deeply concerned about making sure black people get the vaccine first is because they don't want white people to take the vaccine first. They just, they're like, ooh, we need to make sure this thing is safe, because and also it may not even be that sinister. It may just also be it's a money grab, right? People are making money from this, right? I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that everybody's going to die if they do it. I'm not that crazy. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, if you do it, you're crazy and it's not going to work and you're going to die immediately. I'm not in that category, but I am a person who says this. Here's where I stand on the issue. I'm not. I don't think I'm radical on this issue. I may be radical in the way I bluntly describe my truth, but I'm not radical in my ideology, because I'm not a stupid man. I'm a college professor. I'm not a dumb person. Here's what it stands out in my mind. Okay, so you're asking me to put something in my body that can have serious long-term consequences. For what? 99.9% of us are going to survive this pandemic. 99.9% of us, and people who are not able to think critically are not going to understand what I'm saying right now. They'll hear a number like 200,000 and say, oh my God, 200,000 people. Oh my God, everybody's dying. Oh my Lord, 200,000. They don't understand. You live in a country with 330 million people. That's a lot of 1%. Just 1% of 330 million is 3.3 million. So if you take 1% of the population and cut it into about 16 pieces, one of those 16 pieces of 1% is what represents the actual death toll from the pandemic. My heart goes out to any individual who has experienced this up close. I have to say that I want to say that to be clear, to say I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. And I'm sorry if the data, sometimes when you're a stats guy and a numbers guy and a logic guy, I'm a mathematician. I can't help it if I sound like an asshole sometimes. I'm not trying to be one. I'm just trying to give you some facts and data so that you can maybe calm down and realize what it really is, as opposed to allowing them to convince you of what it is not, right? 1/16 of 1% is a pretty tiny number. So it does not mean that those individuals don't matter. Every life matters, right? That's why, for example, when Black Lives Matter came out and was screaming about police brutality, I said, well, there are also black children being shot in Chicago. Their lives matter too. So if you can't talk about their lives too while you're talking about the police shootings, then that tells me you don't believe Black Lives Matter. You believe that Black lives only matter when somebody on CNN says that it's okay for Black lives to matter in a particular context, in a particular setting, that all the other lives don't matter. Seriously, it's so maybe these facts can help you understand. This is why I will just tell you the truth. I'm not particularly interested in signing up to get any sort of shot. And it's largely because I've looked at the statistics. Instead of it being 1/16 of 1%, or 99.9% survival rate, if the survival rate were, say, 98.5%, I'd probably pay more attention. I'd say, okay, well, I'm probably going to be okay. Like if somebody told you have a 98.5% chance of winning the lottery tomorrow, then you'd probably start, thinking about where you want to go on vacation. You'd probably start thinking about, how much money you're going to have, because 98.5% is a pretty big number, right? But if they told you that you have a less than 1% chance of winning the lottery, think about this. I want you to process this for a minute. Sometimes I talk in a way that might go over some people's heads, but I'm not going to talk down to you, because I don't believe black people are stupid. But then again, I'd be lying if I said that, because some black people are stupid. We got stupid people in our community. I ain't going to lie. And there ain't nothing wrong with being stupid. The what's wrong is when you're stuck on stupid. Like what drives me crazy is not stupid people. I don't discriminate against stupid people. What I discriminate against are stupid people who are stuck on stupid, or the dumbest person in the room who thinks they're the smartest person in the room. Like I've dealt with that before. I was on a show one time, and the person who knew the least did the most talking, and it drove me crazy. It really just drove me insane. So ain't nothing wrong with being stupid. Just the question is, are you temporarily stupid? Because we can remedy that. We got a vaccine for that. The vaccine for stupidity is knowledge, right? I can give you all kinds of vaccines for your ignorance, and we got cures, we got all of that, and treatment plans. But if you are stuck on stupid, where the person who knows the least thinks that they know the most, then I can't help you. I don't know what to do with that. So I don't believe you're stupid. So what I'm going to say to you is that again, if you want to sort of contextualize this in terms of the severity of what we're dealing with, right? It's very, very big. It's big in the media. It really is hitting the hospitals hard. I do believe that 100%. Um, but in terms of your odds of the vaccine even mattering for your life, in terms of actual death, I'm not talking about getting the infection. I believe millions of people will get the infection. Millions of people already have. A lot of people are going to get the infection. Very few people are going to die. Again, so imagine if I told you that there is a 99.9% chance that you're not going to die. Does that mean that you expect to die? Does that mean that you get up every day scared to death that you're going to die? No. I mean, a lot of our people live in bad neighborhoods where maybe your chances of getting shot that day are 1%. And they go to work every day despite all that, right? So this proposal, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of dangling money over people's heads to get them to get vaccinated. I don't know if they're going to pass it. I think it's a long shot. I think it's disingenuous, but I think it's expected. It's standard behavior. Money and resources are consistently used to control and manage people's behavior. They don't just do that to Black people; they do that to people all around the world. The United States government, whenever they write a check to a country, there's always a string attached. There's always some expectation that your government is going to be democracy friendly, or your government's going to be friendly to LGBT, or you're going to change some law that they don't like, right? Which is why it's very important to realize that all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. And if you don't understand that basic concept that all money ain't good money, then you'll just take money from anybody. Next thing you know, you'll find yourself in a situation where you're like, man, I'm getting screwed. And because this person gave me money, they think they can control my life. They think they can tell me what to do. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I just want to make that clear. I am not on any level trying to tell you to get the shot or not get the shot. And I won't shame you either way. But what I am saying is that this proposal is problematic. It's sinister. And let me just make this other point too. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, notification bell, all that stuff. Um, Here's the other thing that's really interesting. You know, I just find it so fascinating that and some people fall for this nonsense. I don't fall for it. These same people who allegedly care so much about Black people right now, suddenly Black people are at the top of the agenda. Right now, you can't get on the agenda most days, but now you're at the top of the agenda when it's really their agenda, right? And so Black people can't get no attention on issues like mass incarceration, all the tens of thousands of people that are still in prison right now from the Biden crime bill. Can't get no attention on that. Joe Biden incarcerated hundreds of thousands of Black people and led to the deaths of tens of thousands of Black people. And yet we get no attention on that. We got kids dying in the street, getting shot up a block away from Barack Obama's house, and can't get attention on any of that. We've been asking for reparations. Type the word reparations, hashtag reparations in the chat if you agree with me. We've been talking about reparations since forever, demanding reparations, basically, discussing that on a regular basis in our community. Now, one of our politicians that claims to care so much about Black people has even said the word reparations in public. Not only have they, it's not as if they said no or will think about it. They've literally not said the word. Now, I have never heard Kamala Harris ever say the word reparations. I have never heard Joe Biden ever say the word reparations. I have never heard Barack Obama ever say the word reparations. I have even heard Michelle Obama say the word reparations. And you can't tell me that they don't know when they hear millions of Black people online talking about reparations. That's why I want you to type it in the chat so that if in case they decide to do a Google search, in case they say, well, what's this reparations thing? We haven't heard anything about this. We don't know anything about reparations. I went to Princeton and Barack went to Harvard, but we've never heard the word reparations. Me and Kamala, we're both educated at a very high level, but we don't even know what the word reparation. What is reparations? You mean something for the rappers? Or you what? Right? Okay, type it in the chat. I just think that's really fascinating, though. See, again, this is additional evidence of the paternalistic relationship that white supremacists have with black people. The paternalistic relationship, meaning that they almost see themselves as your parents and you're their children, right? And almost like their pets, right? Except the difference is that they probably love their dogs more than they care about black people. I really believe that. I've been utterly fascinated with how much they love their dogs. No disrespect. I mean, I know we got some dog lovers in the room. Dogs are great. Dogs are cute, but dogs are not people. But there are some people who treat dogs like they're people, like they would literally put their dog at the dinner table. Some of them maybe want to kiss their dog in the mouth, weird stuff like that. But the point is that they see you almost like an asset. They see you as a tool. They see you as a commodity. They see you as their children. So the one piece of evidence of that is that when it comes to them, if you ask them, well, what should be the black agenda? What should black people? What can we do for black people? Well, they're not going to go ask black people. They don't believe black people have a right to any form of sovereignty when it comes to our collective destiny. They won't ask you what you want. They tell you what you want, right? So the wife goes to the husband, or the girlfriend goes to the boyfriend. She says, I need you to give me some time, some attention, some love and affection. And he turns and he says, no, what you really need is more penis. You really need my penis. That's what. So I'm gonna take care of you because that's what I'm gonna give you. And she's like, yeah, that part is okay. That part's great, but there's other things I want too. Well, what you really need is a new vacuum cleaner, girl. Let me get you. I got you the Sandy Hook the Sandy Hook 4257. It's a brand new vacuum cleaner, and it costs $400. And because I care about you so much, and because getting you what you need is my top priority, I'm gonna make sure you have the best vacuum cleaner and the best pots and pans in the neighborhood. Right? So that's kind of the relationship that you have with the people that run the government. Now, the thing about money, and this is why, to me, this whole conversation is deeply economic, is because if you don't have economic freedom, if you don't understand, if you don't make economic sovereignty, economic, free will, a big part of your family agenda, then they're going to always do these things to you. Money is always used on a regular basis to control other people. Many of you get up in the morning and do things that you don't want to do, go places you don't want to go, work with people that you don't even like because of the money, right? You ask a lot of black people, like, so hey, what do you want to do today? They say, well, I'd like to go to the park, but I can't because I got to go to work, right? And so I think that a lot of our freedom can actually be obtained by us breeding a generation of children where they never grow up saying, I have to go to work. Where these children can get up and say, I decided to take the day off because I need a day off. Or these children who say, I actually spend more time with my family than I spend with my boss. Capitalism and capitalism is a bastard. If you let capitalism run unregulated, capitalism will eat through all of your life and everything that matters to you. That's why I'm not completely pro capitalism. I think capitalism can be good, but it can also be very powerful. And when it gets out of control, you become a slave to it. It's like I'm like a doctor who understands drugs and medication. A good doctor understands how drugs can heal you and make you better, so that they'll never be anti-drug. But at the same time, the doctor understands what drugs can do to you if they are not used responsibly. So I am the doctor of capitalism, or the doctor of finance, the doctor of money. I understand why money is necessary. I understand all the creative ways that money can enhance your life. I understand how money can be used to change the world. Money can be used to achieve your goals. But I also understand how money can also turn you into an addict and can literally spill over and control your life if it's not dealt with in an intelligent and responsible way. So for black people, what I'm saying is that as a core value, we must we must make resource acquisition and ownership, the ownership and control of resources, a tip top number one priority. So that means that if you're, for example, if you're buying shares of stock, that's a great start. Keep doing that. That means that if you're into acquiring real estate, well, you want to own everything and get your hands on. Just buy it, hold it, and just say, I got this. This is mine. Right. If you talk about running businesses is very important, even if it's not a big business. If you can at least buy yourself out of slavery, then that will take you a long way towards your mental health. Buying yourself out of slavery might mean that you're one of the 98% or whatever of Black entrepreneurs who have businesses with one employee. I know a lot of y'all got little businesses, and you're just doing all the grinding. You are the secretary and the CEO and everything in between, and the marketing manager, and you're kind of a one-trick pony, but at least you have bought your freedom. If you have gotten to the point where you ain't got to get up every day and go, tickle a white man's testicles in order for you to pay the rent, then congratulations, you've achieved stage one of economic empowerment. Stage one does not mean that you're trying to control the lives of other people. It just means that you have control over the life that is your own. That means that when your children get sick, you get to spend time with your sick children. That means if your parents are dying, you can go stay with your parents for 6 weeks and not have your boss tell you that you're going to get fired if you don't show up to work. That means that if you decide you want a vacation, you can take a vacation without waiting for vacation time, right? So money, can be used to control your life. I think the vaccine in exchange for a stimulus check is a prototypical example where they're basically saying to you, you don't know what's in this shot. All you know is what we tell you, but you do know, maybe if you've been studying, that there have been other vaccines released that have had horrible side effects. Right? You do know that you have a 99.9% chance of never dying from any of the stuff that's out here. You have a higher chance of maybe catching something, but your chances of dying, just go look at the data. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the facts. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the facts. If you look at the statistics, you take that 200,000 or 250,000, which is a terrible number, but you divide it by 330 million people in this country, you're talking about 1/16 of 1%. Right. So your odds of survival are very high. So you're doing something definite in exchange for allegedly preventing something that is extremely rare. Right. A lot of people aren't willing to make that trade-off, and I'm not telling you that what that trade-off should be for you. I'm telling you that it is your right to make that decision. But one thing you must understand about America is that freedom ain't free. One thing you have to understand about America is that you do not live in a democracy. You live in a capitalist democracy. Capitalism is the big brother, and democracy is the little brother. The big brother bullies the little brother. That's why your politicians are controlled by the capitalists. Your politicians are controlled by the money. To run for president of the United States, you got to raise at least $3 billion. So what does that mean? Well, that means that in this capitalist democracy, if you don't have access to wealth and resources, then you will not have access to your freedom. Do you follow what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes or no in the chat if you follow what I'm saying. Because like I said, sometimes I get into this, and I go over some people's heads, and I'm not trying to do that, but I'm trying to explain to you how this game works and how this country operates. Okay. And also, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up, share, and subscribe button. And I put allblackeconomics.com up there. That's actually, you can get a free copy of my book. It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. So feel free to go grab that book. It's totally free. And so I think it's a good book, and it's very short, but it lays out a vision for the Black community that I have: wealth, education, family, and community. I call it the new paradigm for Black America. We did a tour on this back in 2013. We may do another one. And Minister Louis Farrakhan joined me in Chicago. Dr. Cornel West joined me in Brooklyn. Dr. Steve Perry joined me in DC. And maybe we can do this again at some point, because I do think that that's the core, that's the essence of what we must do as a community in order to become successful. Wealth, we must have wealth and all the resources that we need. We must have education at the highest levels, meaning knowledge, real education coming from real people that are going to teach us real issues about what we really need to understand. So that's why books like Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth are so important, is because you can't even learn Powernomics at an HBCU. You can't even learn the things in Black Labor, White Wealth, where they tell you the details of slavery and specifically exactly how they controlled you, the specific laws that they passed at certain times, the specific strategies they used to control you, the specific incentives they created in the community. When you read a book like Black Labor, White Wealth, the reason that you see Ice Cube like literally vowing, literally swearing by Powernomics, or the reason Kanye West was flipped on his head when he heard about Powernomics, or the reason Charlemagne the God went crazy when he read Powernomics, is because you read books like Powernomics and Black Labor, White Wealth in particular, and you say, oh, now I get it. Now America makes sense to me. Now I know why black people have nothing and white people have everything. Now I know why I wake up and feel like a slave every day, no matter how much money I make. Now I know why this country operates the way that it operates, right? Because what happens is they don't fill in the blanks. You go to school every day and it's just things are just the way they are. And they lead you to this conclusion. Well, the reason things are the way they are is because white people are smart and black people are stupid. White people are good and black people are bad. White people get things done and black people are just lazy, right? And then when you read books like that, you read, from 1705, where they passed specific laws designed to keep black people separated. And you say, oh, that's why Negroes love to fight. That's why you got black people out here that want to destroy other black people more than they want to destroy white supremacy, because that was specifically planted into the DNA of the culture, right? And as long as you're allowing other people to educate you and allowing other people to feed you their media and allowing other people to control your economic system, then you will never be able to free yourself from any of the psychological slavery that exists in this country. So really, when I see all this stuff with how they're suddenly talking about black people because they want black people to get a shot, or they're suddenly talking about black people. They also do this with voting rights. I just think it's almost hilarious how every election suddenly black voting rights become such an important issue, right? And you're like, no, we want reparations. They're like, no, no, no. What you really want are voting rights. No, no, no. We want you to stop, to help us with this urban violence thing. We got little babies being shot in the hood. No, no, no. What you really need is voting rights, right? It's one of those things that says, I want to help you as long as it helps me more, and as long as I'm in control. So you're seeing two factors here. You're seeing selfishness, right? I always tell you guys to take a black first philosophy. We're hashtag B1, B1 meaning black first. The reason I want you to be black first is because I know for a fact that they are white first. Right? I need you to understand being black first is fighting fire with fire. It's saying you're prioritizing you, and I ain't even mad at that. But I'm gonna go ahead and prioritize me so that we can have some equality. I talked to a woman once who was in an abusive relationship. She was in a terrible relationship with a guy who was a bastard. He loved her, but he was a bastard. He was selfish. He was mean. He would snap at her for no reason. He didn't beat her, but he was very, very mean to her, just almost like psychologically abusive. And she said that she fixed the issue. Actually, she said their relationship got a lot better. And I said, what happened? How did you make the relationship better? How did you get this bastard to start treating you with respect? And she said, you know what I did? She said, one day I just decided that, you know what? I'm gonna treat you exactly the way you treat me. I'm gonna deal with you exactly the way you deal with me. We're gonna have some equality in this relationship. I'm going to everything you do to me, I'm gonna do exactly the same thing to you. And you know what? His behavior shut down real quick. Right? It shut down real quick because suddenly he was forced to look in the mirror. Suddenly he was forced to deal with true equity, not the perception of equity. Suddenly he realized that this person has options just like he does, and that this person has rights just like he does, and that modified his behavior. So what I'm saying to you is that when this abusive relationship you have with white supremacy, with these systems that neglect you, these systems that destroy your communities, these systems that enslave you, the best way to kind of respond is to simply say, we're going to deal with you exactly the way you deal with us. So you're telling us that you'll give us our stimulus check in exchange for a shot. Well, I'm not going to give you my vote unless you give me reparations. Right? The same way you're trying to own a piece of me. Well, I want to own a piece of you. The same way you evaluate my worthiness as your ally. Well, I'm going to evaluate your worthiness as my ally to determine how much I actually want to partner with you on any specific situation. So when you talk about what's going on with this, I find it really interesting that the people that claim that they want to help black people, the Democrats kind of have they kind of have the crown on claiming that we're helping black people, right? And I listen to the rhetoric very closely. I would look specifically at the specific words that they use, and basically my general theme here is that their argument, again, going back to the paternalism earlier, remember I talked about paternalism. Paternalism is, I want to help you, but I'm going to help you by making you more like me. That's an assimilation process. I want to help you, but I want to help you on my terms, right? That's selfishness. I want to help you, but I need to be the one who drives the bus and owns the bus. But you can ride in the bus, but you got to stay in the back, right? Like that. That's kind of the Democratic Party in a nutshell. I refer to this as trickle down liberalism. Trickle down liberalism says we will tolerate some element of Black liberation as long as it becomes, as long as Black liberation actually morphs itself into white liberalism and blackface. That's why if you specifically listen to the words of some of the Black liberals online, maybe a Jamel Hill or whomever, or an Angela Rye, if you really dissect what they say on specific issues, you'll notice that everything they say kind of fits in the box of white liberalism. It fits right in, so white liberals start talking about, immigration and babies being, taken at the border or something, whatever, separated from their parents, right? They'll sort of parakeet those points, right? Or like with the vaccine or whatever, you can almost predict what their opinion's going to be on the vaccine. There's not going to be any nuance, any sort of subtle understanding or connection or reflection on the points being made by Black people in the masses. The people that are out here really, in these streets living Black life, right? It's going to be a parakeeted talking point, and I understand that pretty well because I, as a person who, when you become kind of well known and you have a lot of education and whatever, when I was on CNN a lot, maybe 12 years ago, back when I used to do shows like that. I don't like doing shows like that anymore. I remember I would get invited into certain spaces, and I remember that there was a cost for admission, no differently from the way they tell you that if you want your stimulus check, you have to take the vaccine. Well, the exchange was, if you can make $10 million a year or $1 million a year. Actually, it wouldn't even be 10 million. It'd be some fried chicken money, maybe like $500,000 or something. Not that that's like a tiny amount, but it's nothing compared to what white folks make from this, right? But they would say, hey, you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but you got to play ball, right? You can make good money, but you have to take the vaccine. We have to inject you with white supremacy, and so you can get paid, but you gotta play the game. So a lot of the Black folks that you see on TV who do not represent the interests of Black people, who do not take their marching orders from the Black community, they take their marching orders from people above in the white folk space. These individuals have pretty much done the exact same thing on a microcosmic level that they're asking the masses of Black people to do. They are getting a check in exchange for the vaccine. They're almost like zombies of white supremacy. You think about a zombie virus where the zombies bite you and then you become a zombie too. Well, they've been zombified by the whole process of white supremacy. A white supremacist system is very strong. There's a very strong code to this. You watch movies like Marcus Small's Melanin Code. I like movies like that because it kind of tells you that this stuff doesn't happen by accident. Like, this is all part of a process, part of a plan, part of a strategy. And the strategy is not as sinister as some people might believe. I don't think Dr. Fauci and people like that are necessarily sitting around saying, how can I be a white supremacist today? But there is a strategy. But if you want to look at the things that they do actually plan, they do go sit in rooms and they say, okay, how do we need Black people to take the vaccine? We need them to vote for the Democratic Party. What trigger points can we grab onto that will allow us to manipulate the Black community and get them to do what we want them to do, right? So while the idea of an extensive, deep, elevated code of conduct and behavior and some top secret strategy, whether that's at play, you can debate that. But one thing we do know is at play is we do know that when they come out and all the Democrats are saying the same thing, and all the Negro delegates on TV, on CNN, are repeating the same points. This doesn't happen by accident. This is not the free exchange of ideas. People that have free exchange of ideas don't come out and all say the same thing. They don't all come out parakeeting the same points. This all comes from strategy. So my point is this, and I'm gonna close it up with this quick discussion, is that they have a direct interest in controlling you and managing you, and they want to manage you the same way a farmer manages his animals, right? They need you all sort of in the same cage. They need you all going in the same direction, and they need to incentivize in a specific way. And they're using money to do that. Money is power. Like, that's one of the things. I mean, seriously, and everybody does it. Everybody does it. Even with my kids. I got adult god kids, and I got my little kids. So when they come to me and they say, "Hey, I need $200," I'll be like, "Okay, well, I'll give you $200 if you do this, if you finish your homework, or if well, not your homework. That's expensive homework, right? But it might be, I'll give you $200, but you got to stop doing this thing over here." Or, "Oh, you want money to go to the store? Well, did you clean your room? Clean your room, and I'll give you money to go to the store." Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of you probably already do this on a smaller scale. They're just doing the exact same thing on a larger scale. So the easiest way for my children to throw the middle finger up at me and to break away from any sort of control I might try to have due to the fact that I control the resources of the house is for them to get their own money. You see, remember when Kanye had that song, nah, 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 where do I get my money, right? Nah, 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 can't nobody tell me nothing, right? Well, that basically says that when black people get our money right, when we get our economics right, ain't nobody really going to be able to tell us nothing. Like, a lot of you will have the life that you want to have and be able to do the things you want to do, because you'll have the economic freedom to do so. You won't be trying to fight for liberation from someone and at the same time begging them for resources. That doesn't work. Liberation doesn't work that way. You don't get liberated when you are begging the oppressor to take care of you, pay your bills, take care of your kids, etc. And then also this last point I was making on this is that their claim to want to help black people is driven by this idea that we want to help you as long as your agenda that we give you fits into our agenda that we've given ourselves. And also, we want to help you as long as we get to control the resources. We will allow you to get some benefits, but we do not want you to have the benefit of control. We will not share power with you people. And so, for example, we want your children to be educated, but we want to be running the schools because we want to hire our teachers. We want to make millions of dollars writing the textbooks. We want to make money as the administrators, but we will give Negro education all day long. We don't want you to have businesses of your own. We're not going to talk about that because that gives you control. We would rather run the businesses and get the profits. We just want to give you jobs. So that's why a lot of the conversations are around jobs and education. We will get more jobs for black people. And we know that jobs are not the key to power and wealth in America. There are very few people in America who've ever really had true economic power just with a job, right? The ownership of assets is one of the most critical elements of power attainment in America. Like I said, capitalism is the big brother, democracy is the little brother. The capitalism controls the democracy. So to get freedom in America, you have to have resources. If you have no resources, it's almost impossible to have freedom. Even extreme leftist liberals get that. If you go look in the background of people like Bernie Sanders and others who speak the leftist Marxist ideology, go look at how much money Bernie Sanders makes every year. I think this man makes $1 or $2 million a year. Joe Biden and his wife Jill make millions of dollars every year. Barack and Michelle Obama make millions of dollars every year. So while they might speak the rhetoric of socialism or whatever it is, leftist, whatever it is, right? They live a completely different reality, not because they're bad people, but because they're smart people and they understand the importance of power and control. So what black people have to focus on is we have to sort of stop letting ourselves get distracted by all the other nonsense that's out there, like all the other crazy things that are out there, and realize this very basic idea. Here's the idea. On a more pessimistic way to say what I'm thinking right now is to give you this truth that black wealth attainment and the black ownership and control of resources is an extreme threat to national security. Black ownership of resources, black wealth is a threat to national security. That's why they will not give you the wealth that you deserve, because they know that as soon as we give these black folks control of resources and money, they're not going to need us anymore. And when they don't need us anymore, then we're going to lose power. So black wealth is a threat to national security. Therefore, I do not on any day of the week, including Tuesdays, wake up thinking that a white man is ever going to give me the keys to true power and liberation and economic strength in this country. I do not believe that. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe I'm just being a bastard. I don't know what I am right now, but I'm just telling you, I don't wake up any day thinking, yeah, when white folks finally decide to do the right thing, we're going to have all the wealth and power in America. I just don't believe human beings think that way. I don't believe human beings give away things that they need or they feel like they need or feel like that they're entitled to. Right. On a more optimistic note, I will say that America is a very weak country. America is we're a country full of punks. We scare easily. There's very little organization. The country, they don't educate their children for the future. I'm not talking about black people. I'm talking about America as a whole. The Chinese see this. The Chinese look at us and they laugh at us. They say this country has no unity. They're all over there trying to kill each other. The Americans, they don't educate their kids. Oh, we got our kids on lock. We not only have them all educated, but we inject them with the core values that are going to be fundamental for the strength of China. We have a China first policy. They can't have an American first policy because they think that's racist and bad. But we are China first. We move as a group. They move as individuals. America is a sloppy, sloppy, sloppy country that is on its way down. America as a country, mark my words, the next 50 to 100 years for the United States is going to be terrible. They have no unity. We're not very smart. We're not disciplined. That's why obesity, things like obesity are so terrible. Our capitalism has destroyed our democracy where basically they're feeding us poisonous food every day and we eat it because corporations are able to get that crap through the FDA because they pay off enough money, right? So what does that mean? Well, in the middle of chaos, there is always opportunity. In the middle of chaos, there are two types of people that in a chaotic situation. There are the people who freak out and panic like everybody else. And then there are the people who pay attention to the environment and they start planning and strategizing. They say, damn, this is my chance. This is my chance. So imagine if you're in a bank and there are bank robbers that are controlling the bank and you're a hostage in a bank robbery. So you're sitting there with your friends and you're all with your hands tied behind your back. And then you notice that some stuff pops off, right? One of the bank robbers starts arguing with the other bank robber, like, "No, I want the money. You told me you was gonna give me half. No, man, if you keep talking like that, I'm gonna put a cap in your butt, right? Right?" And then there's chaos, and they start fighting or whatever, right? There are gonna be some people who are gonna be watching the fight, who are gonna be scared, like, "Oh my God, something bad's gonna happen. Well, who's gonna win the fight, right?" But then there are gonna be people who are gonna say, "This is our chance. Here, untie me. Let's get out of here. Let's go out the back," while they're fighting each other. You see, when there is disunity, when there is volatility like that, that volatility creates opportunity. Just like when COVID began, I told you guys, stock market's having chaos and volatility that creates opportunity. Elon Musk, in the middle of chaos, he saw opportunity. That's why this man made $300 million a day during the pandemic. During the pandemic, he made $300 million a day because when he saw the chaos, he started strategizing. So what I'm saying to you as black people is that you live in a country that right now is filled with chaos. The chaos will not get better, it will get worse. America will not go back on the rise, it will go on the decline. Everything that America needs to do to rise again and to become strong again, those values are dead. The baby boomer generation is gone. So you don't have a youthful population anymore that's going to make America strong and great. You have an aging population, which is going to make America weak and unproductive. So for black people, in my opinion, there are two types of black folks. There are black folks that are going to get caught up in the nonsense. They're going to fight. They're going to get into fights with their cousin over whether you're a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. They're going to get caught up in tangential issues, whether it's LGBT or feminism or whatever. They're going to get caught up in the gender wars, right? They like the chaos. They want to fight other black people, right? And then you've got black folks that are going to strategize, that are going to say, okay, this is my opportunity. This is our big chance. We can form an investment group and we can go acquire capital all throughout this country because there's nobody in place that's going to stop us from doing that. We're going to educate our own children, get them out of these public schools so we can teach them our values and prepare them to build a future for our community. We're going to align ourselves with individuals who are like-minded so we can go achieve our goals because this is our chance. America is not the country that it was during slavery. During slavery, they had a specific unified code of conduct in which they were all sort of on the same page when it came to controlling black people. After the end of the Civil War, about 95% of all white people in the North and the South felt that slaves should remain enslaved. Over 90% of all white people, even the so-called good ones, felt that black people need to stay in slavery because they did not want to share resources, they did not want to share jobs. They were unified in the sole purpose of controlling black people and managing them to their own benefit. A lot of that constraint has disappeared. Most of it has disappeared. There's not a white man who's going to get pissed off and try to send you to jail because you tried to learn how to read. Now, they did that 150 years ago. They don't do that anymore. There's not a white man that's going to stop you when you decide you want to start a business with your family. There's not a white man who's going to stop you when you decide you want to educate your children in the way you see fit. So I believe that the strength and power and revolution for black people is going to be on a family specific basis. You lost a lot of your institutions during integration. Integration was the sucker punch that put you 100 years backward. Integration did not work for black people. Integration was an occupation. Integration was where they got you to kill all your institutions so you can go work in the basement of their building. Right? They got you to burn your house down so you can go live in the basement of their house and contribute to their economic power. So integration killed a lot of your institutions. It killed a lot of your businesses. You used to have your own schools. You even had your own black version of NASCAR. You weren't trying to get a job on a sports team. You actually owned the entire sports league. So the institution, though, that you can rely on, the institution you have access to, is the institution called your family. Your family is an institution, and that institution is like Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin in that Bitcoin only has value if people believe in it. Fiat currency only has value if people believe in it. If people stop believing in it, then it has no value. So your family has value if you believe in it. If you believe in your family as an institution, if you have the people that ride with you that may not even be related to you, that are unified with you, right? Maybe I'm part of your family, right? I don't mind being part of your family. I love all of you. I see you as relatives. I love talking to you. I love sharing with you. I love being Uncle Boyce and the father figure, whatever it is that I am for you, the guide. I love all. I embrace all of that, right? So I believe that family, that institution, has as much value and as much relevance as we decide it's going to have. It is as relevant and as valuable as we choose it to be. So I say that we focus on that. We turn inward. I focus, for example, if I'm a black man, I'm focusing on how I'm raising them babies, right? If I'm a black woman, I'm thinking about how I can find ways to reconcile and really truly love the black man next to me. Or even if you're dating a woman, I'm not going to judge that. I don't care about that type of stuff. As long as that stuff is secondary to the fact that you're black. Be one, hashtag be one. So, because if you do that, then what happens is that I believe you can establish a fortification where you and your people can be good and safe and protected in a world that has lost its damn mind. Again, the world is chaotic. The world is ignorant. The world is very divided. The racism is never going to go away. But I believe that there are enough opportunities right now in this country, as flawed as it is, there are enough opportunities for you to do whatever the hell you want to do. You just got to want to do it. And doing it is going to require you to focus. That's the biggest thing. You got to focus because you got a lot of unfocused Negroes out here that are getting caught up in a lot of stuff that is incredibly, incredibly unproductive. So be productive, be strong, be smart. You can win this thing. All right, so I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you taking the time to be a part of this. If you want to subscribe, we have financialjuneteenth.tv.com. Financialjuneteenth.tv.com is everything Black economic liberation. It's a great platform. Every Monday, we do a Black business pitch competition where Black businesses pitch their business, and we support those businesses and give them feedback on their business model and their pitch. So if you are a entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, then feel free to go to financialjuneteenth.tv.com. Or if you just want to support Black businesses, that's another thing too. Also, if you want to receive text notifications from me a couple times a week, text the word "voice" to 31996. Text "voice" to 31996. And last but not least, we've got specialists that are right there in the Black Business School. We're building our own university. We're up to about 138,000 students worldwide. And we, again, my PhD is very, very real. And I also consult and bring in other experts. And so we actually teach from a powernomics-based philosophy. So if you want to learn more about the Black Business School, feel free to go take a look at the page. You can actually get started for free. You can actually get a free membership and then work your way up if that's what you want to do. But literally, we give you better stuff for free than most universities give you, even if you pay $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year in tuition. So feel free. Just know that there is a Black-owned university out here. Our goal is to raise enough money to eventually have physical buildings and a physical presence all across the United States. I've studied how universities were started, like Harvard University and Yale and stuff like that. And we're kind of following a similar model, except it's more adapted to 21st century opportunities. And because I believe Black people should own our own schools. I believe Black people should educate our own kids. I believe that we should support our own businesses. And I believe that those are the keys to economic and political power. So that's my philosophy. That's what I believe. And if you believe the same thing, then I'm glad you're here. Okay, guys. So I got to go. Have a good day. Thank you for listening. This was fun. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Peace.